Hello, you guys, and welcome to another episode of my podcast, Things Could Be Worse. I'm your host, baileydedrick, and today we're going to be talking a little bit about burnout. The first thing I want to do is preface this whole episode by saying I am no expert. I am not a mental health specialist. I literally have no idea what I'm talking about. I did a little bit of research on this episode, or like prior to this episode, just because I want to know at least kind of what I'm talking about and not just like spitball a bunch of like random information that isn't true. From what I've gathered, burnout can actually be like a very serious thing. And if you let it continue and if it goes on for a while and it gets to a very serious point, it can become like a chronic mental illness. So I'm not really going to be talking about that. Obviously, if you are really, really struggling, I encourage you to reach out and to get help because it can feel very lonely and I am really just diving right into this episode. It can feel incredibly lonely and just like depressing. So if you're feeling significantly not good, I really encourage you to get help because you deserve to get help. And like that's how you have to look at it. You're not a burden. You aren't putting your problems on other people. You deserve to be able to get the help that you need to live a happy and healthy life. So that's just kind of a little disclaimer I wanted to add in here before I start talking about it because like I've stated in other episodes, I am not a therapist, okay? I might come on here and, just start spitting stuff out, sounding like I am a therapist sometimes, but I need you to remember I'm an 18-year-old girl. I'm just sharing my own personal experiences surrounding burnout and what has helped me and what has helped other people that I know. So yeah, that's what this episode is all about. Before I dive into my own personal experiences surrounding burnout and like what type of burnout I have felt in the past, I want to give you guys like the actual definition, like what even is burnout, because I feel like this is thrown around a lot, especially on like TikTok and stuff. We hear the word burnout all the time now, and it kind of sprung up out of nowhere in my opinion. So in case you don't know what it is, because I didn't know the actual definition until I started researching for this pod, the definition, well, my paraphrase definition, this isn't like the straight out of Google definition, but I kind of like reworded it so it makes sense and is very simplistic. It is a state of emotional, mental, and physical exhaustion, usually brought on from high amounts of stress. This stress can come from relationships in your life. This stress can come from school. This stress can come from work. This can come from sports. It can come from basically anything that causes you stress. So I wouldn't say personally that I've ever experienced like major burnout that has lasted me like months and months and months, because I know burnout can like literally be a thing that happens and it can come and go and like be here for like a few weeks or a few months or even like a year long. People can feel burnt out for. I've never really experienced like a long period of burnout, but I will say with like school and YouTube and just relationships in my life, I have definitely felt burnt out. I have felt exhausted. I have felt just like I have no motivation. I have no will to do anything. Like I feel like everything is pointless. I feel, and not in like a depressed type of way, like my life is pointless. It's a different type of like just feeling. Like you just don't want to do anything because you are so drained, so tired, and you just want to lay in bed and rot. So when I was planning my little sheet here, if you're watching visually, you can see it. The first thing that came to my head regarding burnout was definitely school. I feel like so many people in school, whether that's high school or college or whatever, can relate to having some sort of burnout surrounding school in one way or another. And I feel like this is because we are expected to do so much when we're in high school, like as teenagers and into college, or if you don't go to college, like high school, really, I'm going to be focusing on because that's where my own personal experience comes in. But like, I feel like in high school, teenagers have so much pressure on them and so much on their plate and so much to do in such little time. Like there is not enough hours in the day to complete everything that society is putting on us. It's like we go to school for 8 hours a day and then it's encouraged or expected almost to participate in either a sport or an instrument or a hobby or a club or an extracurricular of some sort, and that takes up so much time. And then on top of that, you're supposed to make money somehow, so you're expected to have a job, you're supposed to be working, you need to make your own money, you're almost an adult, make your own money, you know what I mean? And then on top of that, you have to deal with relationships, whether that's family, whether that's friends. You need to make time for the people in your life that care about you and that you care about. But it's like, how am I supposed to do all of that when I'm literally going to school 8 hours a day? I'm supposed to sleep 8 hours a day. So that's 16 hours right there, gone. How is there enough time to do any of that other stuff? So for me personally, I only participated in a sport my freshman year of high school. I played volleyball, which I don't know what I was thinking. I don't know why I just decided to play volleyball all of a sudden. I think it's because like a lot of my friends played volleyball and I just wanted to like try it out. But I played volleyball my freshman year and it is insane. I was on like the freshman volleyball team, and the stuff that they were making us do, it was like 2-hour practices every single night after school. We would have like 6 a.m. lifts on Wednesday mornings before school, like crazy stuff. And then if you actually get to like the higher levels like JV varsity, you're expected to do even more. How do people do that? I literally don't understand. But not even just talking about like all of the other stuff besides school that we're supposed to be focusing on. Like the actual pressure in school can be so heavy. And it's like you may have staff members at your school pressuring you, to succeed and to do well. And then if you have like parents who really care about your grades and how you're doing, that can be so stressful. Basically what I'm getting at is I never really had like a ton of pressure put on me from the external forces in my life. Like my parents, like they always encourage good grades, and like there was some emphasis on that, and like I knew my parents wanted me to do well, especially my dad, but like at the end of the day, they didn't like pressure me or like put unrealistic expectations on me that I had to like hold up to, you know what I mean? But I feel like most of the pressures came from myself. I am sort of a perfectionist. I care a lot about how I succeed in my life, and I want to be successful. Is my hair parted in the middle? Sorry, off topic. I think my part was like on the side of my head. Ew, that was okay. Most of the pressure that I felt in school was put on by myself. But then with that being said, I kind of just gave up on school because I knew I wasn't going to college. So I took like really easy classes my senior year. So like this past year, whatever, I did not feel any sort of burnout regarding school. Like I was just ready to be done. But I mean, the workload of school, AP classes, like I don't even know, rigorous courses, all of that can be so stressful. And if you are especially at this point in the year, summer is right around the corner. This is like the home stretch, and it is so hard to push through these last couple of months until summer. But just trust me, you've got this. School, yes, is very important. I know you're worried about your grades so that you can get into the college that you want and like stuff like that. But I promise you, you can lay off the gas a little bit. You can take a little bit of time off, like a little bit of worry away. Like you don't need to stress this much over school. Some of you probably listening are like, what? I don't give a fuck about school. And like, I'm not really talking to you guys yet, but yeah, I know that there's probably a lot of people listening to this that are very stressed out regarding school, and I was too at one point, but it was never anything too intense for me. But I see the people around me getting affected by this a lot. So yeah, that's kind of talking about like the school side of things. I mean, I don't really have like any personal stories of feeling super burnt out with school, but it's just like, I get it. It is so draining. It is so exhausting. It feels like you're doing this thing every single day over and over and over. It's so repetitive. It just gets so heavy. And I just want you to know, if you're feeling this, pretty much everybody else feels this too, and you shouldn't feel alone in this. But moving away from the school side of things, something that I can talk a little bit more personally about, I guess, is YouTube burnout, or just like work burnout in general. When you look up burnout on Google, most of the results that come up are regarding like work related burnout, and I think it's referring to like older people with like corporate jobs and stuff like that feeling burnt out. But like burnout can come in so many different forms, and I feel like it kind of made me feel bad. Like it didn't talk any about like high schoolers or college students. Like it was all talking about, like all the results were talking about like older people dealing with burnout. And I feel like that just like isn't fair. Like young people can deal with this too. Like, yeah, we're not working stressful corporate jobs, but like we still have a lot going on, and there still is things that are stressing us out and like putting pressure on us. So I don't know, I just wanted to say that with YouTube and social media and everything that I do, I have felt burnout so many freaking times because with YouTube, I mean, I've been doing YouTube since I was 10 years old and I'm 18 now. So that's 8 years of doing this in like some capacity. Obviously, I've evolved and changed and taken on more over the years, but for the most part, I have been doing YouTube for 8 years. And that's kind of insane if you think about it. I'm 18 and I have been working at the same job. Technically, I mean, I guess I'm not working at a job, but like you get what I'm saying. Like I have been working at the same thing for 8 freaking years. That is crazy to think about. And along the way, yes, there has been so many highs, but there has also been so many lows. And I talk about this a little bit on my YouTube channel, but I never really go too deep into like the burnout that I feel. And I almost feel guilty talking about it because at the end of the day, I know that I literally have the best job in the world. I would not trade it for anything. I love it so much. I have so much fun with it. I get to do something I love and make money from it. And that is literally a dream. So I hate talking about it in a negative way, and I hate sharing my struggles because I know that what I have, I'm so lucky for it. And I almost feel like out of touch if I like complain about this job because people are doing stuff that is way more taxing, way more draining, way more stressful. And so I just feel like guilty sometimes. And I guess that isn't necessarily like a healthy thing, but also like if you just think about it, like me complaining to my boyfriend about, you know, the work that I have to get done and this podcast that I have to record and this video I have to edit, while he is like working 12-hour shifts in the summertime, literally putting down like epoxy garage flooring in the hot summer sun. Like it just isn't fair, I feel like, for me to complain about this. And I try not to, but I mean, what I'm trying to get at is there has been times where I literally feel like giving up. YouTube and what I do on social media all comes from creativity, and it comes from being inspired in some capacity or another. I put out content because I genuinely care about it and I feel passionate about it, and there's some sort of creative stimuli that I am like getting from it. And creativity is something that you can't just, you know, wake up and have every single day. It's something that comes and it goes, it ebbs and it flows. Okay, why was that a bar? That was a bar. That was a bar. Put me on a song, someone. I don't know, but oh, sorry, I just spazzed and hit the mic. I don't know. There's times in my life where I just feel drained and I feel tired and I'm sick of being creative and I'm sick of coming up with ideas. Like there is no guidebook. There is no like books you can read. I mean, there probably is now because like YouTube and social media is like a more recognized like job path and like thing to do. But basically what I'm saying is there is no directions. There is no instruction manual. I don't know what I'm doing. I've never known what I'm doing. It's literally something you just wake up and every day I have to change. I have to evolve because content is changing. People's interest is changing. Trends change. Like it gets tiring trying to be creative all the time. When I feel like I'm having a lack of creativity or a lack of motivation, it can be incredibly difficult because I never want to just like turn on my camera and record a video when I'm feeling terrible because viewers are going to see that and that energy that I have is going to like come through in the video. So I don't want the video to be trash because I'm feeling trash. It just has gotten very exhausting from time to time, and to think about the fact that I've been editing YouTube videos for 8 years, like I get so sick of editing sometimes and it feels like I'm just doing this thing over and over and over, and like it gets tiring. On top of that, I mean, this is not like a stressful job by any means if we're comparing it to like an ER nurse. Like obviously they have so much more stress on them than I do, but with that being said, like any stress is stress and everybody has different stress in their life and they can feel however they want to feel about it. There's times where like I have so much to do and I have so many different videos that I need to produce. I have so many different sponsorships that are lined up, and like my schedule can get very complicated very fast because, I will get, if you don't know how this works, like I have a manager and she'll reach out to me with like deals from brands, and that's like sponsorships, brand deals, whatever you want to call them. She'll bring them to me and I'll either say yes or no, and then we'll move forward with it. And then it doesn't actually take place until usually months later. Like I'll talk to whatever brand in January and I won't actually create content for them until like March. You know what I mean? So sometimes I'll say yes to a whole bunch of things and then they'll all fall. Like all of the contracts are telling me that I need to have the content in all the same week. And then all of a sudden I go from having like a lot of free time, not much to do, to having like 8 videos or 8 TikToks or 8 different Instagram posts, like all due the same week. So the scheduling can get a bit crazy. I don't know. I don't want to talk too much about this because I feel like I've already been talking for like way too long. Moving on, we have social burnout. And this is something that I have felt so many times off and on, specifically in the last couple of years. I feel like the beginning of high school, I definitely talked about this in an episode, so I'm not going to go in too much. But in the beginning of high school, I was very, very social. I was always trying to find a move. I was always trying to make plans. And in the past couple of years, I have really slowed down on that because I realized that I am someone who needs alone time to be like filled up. You know how like extroverts, their social battery fills up from being around people, and introverts, their social battery fills up from being alone. I'm kind of a nice mix of in between, like a in between mix of introvert and extrovert, but like I just was overdoing it. Like I was always so busy with plans, and it got to a point where I was like, I literally cannot keep saying yes to these things and these events and these, parties and stuff because I feel like I am just exhausted. Like I don't want to talk to these people. I don't want to make new friends anymore. Like I am sick of it. I want to be alone. So I feel like for me, I just really had a lot of focus and emphasis on like hanging out with friends, making memories and all of that. And it got to the point where I just couldn't do it anymore. Like I couldn't keep up with that many friends. Like I'm not saying, oh my God, I have so many friends, but I did have a lot of people that I was surrounding myself with, like in the beginning of high school. So like I was keeping up with so many people and I was talking about different, like it was just a lot. And I needed to take a little break from people for a little bit. And I think COVID really helped me with that and helped me realize that it's okay to be alone and it's okay not to be with somebody every second of the day. So that's a little bit on my own personal experiences with burnout and just like feeling exhausted from the things in my life. I don't know if you could technically call them actually burnout. I'm using burnout very lightly in this episode. Like I said, burnout can be like extremely serious, and I don't think I've ever experienced like a super serious case of burnout before, but those are just some things that I wanted to talk about. Topic number 2 that I want to move into is, why do we experience burnout? What is this feeling and why am I getting it? So like I read the definition in the beginning, like a little professional, I feel like I was doing a homework assignment. When I was typing up this little outline, you guys, I literally said that to my brother. I was like, I feel like I'm doing a homework assignment because I put in the work. You know what I mean? I put in the work. You're going to see this in a little bit. I have like facts. And that's uncommon for this podcast. I have facts, you guys. Okay, but some symptoms that I found. Maybe you're on the fence. Am I feeling burnt out? Am I not? Am I just a little tired? Am I just a little stressed? Or are you like actually burnt out where you need to take extra measures to ensure that you don't go down like a dark path anytime soon? Let's see. Symptom number 1 is feeling tired or drained most of the time, like you are never motivated. This, I feel so heavy. Like I will feel so on top of the world. I will be so motivated. I'll want to like wake up at 6 a.m., work out, eat healthy. I'll want to like go film 8 YouTube videos and edit them all in the same day, which is not even possible, but I'll want to do it. And then I'll like want to make plans with my boyfriend and my friends and my family. And I'll want to take a trip to Cabo in the same day. Like I'll be so motivated. And then the next day, I can't even get out of bed. And I started realizing that like this probably isn't a normal pattern to feel super motivated one day and then completely drained the next. And I realize it's because when I do feel super motivated, I take advantage of it and I put my all in. You know what I mean? Like if I'm feeling super motivated one day, I will literally bust out like 2 YouTube videos. I'll record a podcast. I'll film a bunch of TikToks. I'll do like a ton of stuff. And although that might seem good because it's like, oh yeah, well, work while you feel motivated, that motivation can very quickly fade away if you're overworking yourself or overdoing it. I don't know why I explained that symptom so much, but that was just one that I related to. So moving on, symptom number 2, feeling helpless, trapped, and or defeated. A lot of these symptoms low-key kind of go along with like depression, and I don't want to talk about that too much because like I'm not a therapist and depression isn't something that can like lightly be talked about. But again, like I said in the beginning, if you are really struggling and you're feeling like thoughts of like helplessness and like hopelessness and like feeling completely worthless and stuff like that, you need to get help, baby girl. And I truly wish the best for you. But moving on, we have feeling detached / alone in the world. We have having a cynical / negative outlook on things, self-doubt, and then, there's 2 more, procrastinating and taking longer to get things done, and then overall just feeling overwhelmed. So that was a nice little list of symptoms there. And if you're anything like me, you heard that list and you slowly started freaking out a little bit because you relate to all of them. What does that mean? What does that mean? Am I broken? Am I mentally ill? I don't know, probably. I mean, I'm definitely a little bit. I literally read this list and I was like, am I burnt out right now? Like I am what? A lot of these are checking. Like I'm checking a lot of these boxes here. A lot of these things are feelings that are normal. And like some days, yeah, you're going to have like thoughts of self-doubt and you're going to be a little negative. But like, it's like an ongoing thing. If you're feeling these symptoms like ongoing for like a long period of time, that's kind of how you know you're burnt out. But if you just like feel, unmotivated one day, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're burnt out. So just keep that into consideration. I'm not trying to like diagnose anybody. I don't even know if this is like a diagnosable thing. I'm really just trying to tread the water slowly or like lightly. Like I don't want to cause any issues because like I said, like I don't know if this is something that I should talk about without having like a PhD. I don't think so. So moving on, the next type of research that I did, I found out that there are 3 different types of burnout and they all kind of stem from different things and they all affect you in a different way. So number 1 is overload burnout. This is continuing to work at an unsustainable pace for a long period of time. So if we're talking about like a corporate job here, that's more like logging super long hours and not taking like adequate like rest breaks and like I don't even know, but like you know what I mean. Like you're working so freaking hard every single day and you are rarely taking time to just take a break. And that doesn't have to be with work, that can be with school. If you're working every single day so hard at school and you get home from school and then you are working on more school and you're never just giving yourself a break, that can become very unsustainable and cause overload burnout. Then we have number 2, under-challenged burnout. This is when you aren't being challenged or stimulated enough, whether that's at your work or that's at school. Like you're not taking hard enough classes that aren't like challenging you enough. Or you're just around people that aren't stimulating you. And like, I hate people, like I hate people that like do not offer anything to me. And I don't mean like materialistic, like I'm not talking about superficial stuff. Like I'm not expecting to show up to a party and like get like gifts. I'm saying like, if I'm going to be your friend, I need you to offer me some sort of intellectual knowledge. I need you to be able to hold a conversation. I need you to be able to like connect with me so that I can gain something from you, not like materialistically, but like spiritually, mentally. Like I need that connection. So I mean, I guess under challenged burnout could also come from like unfulfilling relationships. So keep that in mind. I don't know. Then we have neglect. This is when you don't feel a sense of purpose and you find it hard to be engaged in anything that you're doing. So I don't necessarily have a backup, or a follow-up to this. But you just don't feel a sense of purpose. You feel like you're putting in all this work at your job or at school and you aren't really getting anything in return for it. Like, you might be studying so freaking hard. You might be trying so hard in your classes, asking questions, going to get extra help, and you're still doing bad on your test and like your projects and stuff. That can probably cause a lot of burnout, because like you're putting in so much work and you feel like you aren't getting anything out, and you feel like you're doing all of this work and there's literally no reason to be doing it because it's not doing anything. But in the long run, it actually is doing something. But also, like, don't overwork yourself. Those are the 3 types of burnout. Something else that I think really just, I mean, at least for me, I'm somebody, I say that I like routine, and I do like routine in a sense that I can like stay consistent with things. But I hate routine in the sense that like it's repetitive. I hate repetitive stuff. And that's why I think I struggled with school so much, is because I got up at the same time every day, went to school for the same time every day, came home, ate dinner, did homework, went to bed, and woke up and did the same thing all over again. You know what I mean? So yeah, I feel like repetitive tasks is a big one. Like, if you're doing the same thing, same thing every day at like school or work or whatever, I feel like you can get very bored and just kind of fall into this like sad hole where like nothing is exciting you and you aren't doing anything that's actually stimulating you, and you just feel like you're going through the motions every single day. You know, you're waking up, you aren't even thinking about what you're doing. You literally are just on autopilot because you're so used to this routine that you're in, and it can be really hard. And I literally think that is the only reason that I hated school so much. Like, I hated just doing it all. Like, it was so much. It's so much over and over and over and over. And like, we get 2 days off for the weekend, and over those 2 days, I'm stressing because I have so much homework and I have 2 YouTube videos that I have to get done and all this other stuff. So like, the weekends weren't even rest for me when I was in school. The weekend was almost more stressful than the weekdays because I knew I had so much that I needed to get done, on top of also wanting to fulfill my social needs, you know, hang out with my friends, hang out with my boyfriend, make time for my family, stuff like that. I don't know. At the end of the day, it really is just about taking on more than you can handle, and that can be incredibly overwhelming. Like, if you're taking too many difficult classes and you're participating in sports and clubs and you have a job and you are, you know, you have a boyfriend that you have to keep up with, it's like, it's just too much. And this like threshold is different for everybody. Some people might be able to do the damn thing every single day and never experience burnout. But then there's other people that, you know, we can't do as much at once, and, you know, we can't handle as many things at once. And it's all so personal, and it's all just like dealing with your own personal thresholds for stress. I kind of have to pee, but I really don't want to get up, so I'm going to try to hold it. But I kind of want to be done talking about like why we experience burnout. Point is, you're stressed out and you've been stressed out for a while, and now you're feeling like nothing matters. You have no motivation and you don't want to continue doing whatever you need to do. And yeah, that's that. The important part here is, how can we overcome burnout? How can we recover from this seemingly endless feeling, this endless cycle that's going on? How do we actually get better? And again, I'm not no therapist. If you're really struggling, go to a therapist, because I am not the one. I am not the one, honey. The first little tip here that I have for you in overcoming burnout is honestly probably like the most important one, and it's the one that's been most helpful with me in the past, like overcoming this. And that's just being patient with yourself and being compassionate with yourself. Burnout can literally feel debilitating, and it can take months to fully recover from it. You can't force this process or you will never fully heal. And this overwhelming feeling of stress and anxiety is just going to keep coming back and come creeping into your life over and over and over again, because you aren't actually healing anything or recovering from it or actually acknowledging what it is that's triggering this response or this feeling. So just be nice to yourself. It isn't that deep, girly. Whatever is going on it can be put on hold. You need to love yourself and be compassionate with yourself and realize that this, like most mental struggles, is something that's going to take a little while to maybe fizzle out. It might never fizzle out, but you need to just be patient with yourself and you need to be gentle with yourself because it isn't something that's going to happen overnight. You can't be mean to yourself or beat yourself up into getting over this feeling. It's not something that just will go away. It takes effort and it takes patience and it takes you just being nice to yourself and loving yourself. Number 2 here on my list, I have things like journaling, getting more sleep, meditation, exercise, and basically just setting time aside for yourself to be more in tune with your mind and body is very helpful. I feel like this is, I sound like a broken record. I feel like every single episode I talk about just doing things that are helping your mind and your body. I literally keep talking about exercising more. I keep talking about journaling and all of that, but it truly is so important and it's really, really, really helped me. And I keep talking about it because I know that it helps. I wouldn't just be spitting out shit that I don't actually believe in. You know what I mean? So I really encourage you, if you're feeling very burnt out or you're just feeling stressed, this doesn't even only apply to people that are feeling this incredible feeling of being burnt out. If you're just a little stressed or you're just going through something right now, this will help you too. Journaling is so helpful. Getting out all of your thoughts and your feelings and putting them on a page without actually having to talk to somebody about it, because I know talking to people and opening up and being vulnerable is so scary and very hard. Even for me, I might seem like I'm so good at being open. You guys probably listening are honestly probably wow, I bet her and her friends and her family and her boyfriend, I bet she is so open with them and is so good at communication and so good at talking about the way that she feels. Wrong. I suck. I have never been able to talk about my feelings with other human beings, but I can talk to my camera and I can talk to you guys and tell thousands of people exactly how I'm feeling, and I can come up with the right words. It's just crazy how comfortable I am in front of a damn camera versus in front of a human being. And it's honestly kind of scary and might seem sad, but I am so well-spoken. I feel I'm not the best. I do mess up a lot, but I feel like my word choice and the way that I make my points and get my points across, I feel like I do a pretty good job. And that's why I decided to make a podcast. I wouldn't make a podcast if I didn't think I was at least a little bit well-spoken, but I can't do this. I can't have these conversations. I do, and I've been working on my communication with the people in my life, but I suck at talking about my feelings. So I completely understand. You might be feeling so many emotions, but you can't reach out, or you feel like you can't reach out to anybody because you don't know how to articulate the way that you're feeling. But when it's just you and a pen and a freaking notebook, girly, write your little heart out. Also in your journal, you can do little stress trackers. So at the end of each day, you can put what level you're at, 1 to 10. How stressed out were you feeling that day? And then put in the things that stressed you out. What you write there for the things that stressed you out will be triggers in the future that you can look out for so that you don't, feel as stressed out the next time around. So if a test at school really, really stressed you out one day and you write that down in your journal, when you look back at that, you can be okay, why did this test stress me out so much? And it's maybe because you were underprepared, you didn't really study for it, and you can eliminate some of that stress towards the test by preparing for the test better, by studying better. And I don't know, there's just little things just being self-aware and acknowledging your feelings and why you're feeling them can really go a long way. It really just all is about taking care of your mind and your body. And I feel like so many times we underestimate the power that taking care of ourselves has in our lives. We need to set time aside for ourselves to focus on ourselves and our minds and just actually just, be. Just allow yourself time to just exist. Not time to do work, not time to hang out with friends, not time to make plans, not time to do whatever. Just time to sit somewhere and exist and soak in whatever is going on around you. The next one is something else that I also seem to be talking about so much in these episodes, and I'm honestly sorry. I'm not trying to do that. And while I was planning this one, I was honestly like kind of mad at myself. I was like, can I not come up with anything else? Like, why am I being so repetitive? Like, I keep giving them the same advice. But at the end of the day, this is what is so important, and I just need to keep reiterating it so more and more and more people actually take the advice and put it to use in their lives. So do things for you that make you happy and that stimulate you. Pick up new hobbies, try new things by yourself or with friends. I don't know, just do things that are new and exciting, especially if you're feeling burnout from like school and repetitive other things like that. Like you just feel like every day is the same. You wake up, whatever, everything is exactly the same. You need to make time to try new things. You need to make time to do the things that you love on the side. I don't think that enough people try new things, and it kind of makes me sad. I mean, I don't, like, there's so many things that I want to start like doing. Like, I want to start painting again. I would love to get better at drawing. I want to start crocheting so bad. Do you guys see those cute crochet tops that all those little the crochet girlies are making on TikTok? So freaking cute. I would love to learn how to crochet, and crocheting can be such like a good thing because it's like, I mean, not just crocheting, but like painting, drawing, any like artistic hobby can be so good because doing like stuff that's creative is so good for your brain. And then also it's just like silent time. Obviously you can like play music while you're like crocheting or whatever, but if you're just sitting there crocheting all by yourself, like that is time that you are just taking for yourself, and that is such an important time. And then also if you love crocheting, like that's bringing you joy because you're doing something that you love. So it's just like try new things, find stuff that you love, and try to do them as much as possible, because this is going to spark some of that joy back into your life. This is going to spark some excitement. This is going to stimulate you, and this is going to hopefully bring some sort of good into your life when things might not be feeling all that good. Number 4, this one's actually probably the most important one. I know I said the first one was the most important, but it's always good to be like gentle and kind and patient with yourself. But like this one, if you are trying to get out of burnout, this is the one thing that you need to do. If you don't do this one thing, you will never actually heal from the burnout that you're feeling. You will never get out of this like dark headspace that you're in if you do not do this one thing. Set boundaries. Yes, set boundaries. Nothing or no one is more important than your well-being. I know setting boundaries is hard and it's scary, and it can make you feel like you're failing, and it can make you feel guilty, like you're disappointing the people around you. But it is the most important thing that you can learn how to do in life. Saying no is literally the most important skill to have. You're probably feeling burnt out because you're stressed out, right? And why are you stressed out? Because you're dealing with school, you're dealing with friends, you're dealing with whatever and whatever and whatever. Start minimizing all of that by saying no more frequently. If you're really stressed out at work and one of your coworkers keeps asking you to pick up shifts and you feel like you should, because obviously you want to make as much money as possible, you want to get as many hours in as possible, but if it gets to a point where it's genuinely affecting you mentally, like it is stressing you the fuck out and you are like losing it, say no. Just be like, hey, cannot pick up your shift. I'm very sorry. Find someone else. Like, I cannot do it. I can't keep doing this. And that goes for anything. Friends are asking you to hang out and you really feel like you don't have the social capability or the mental capability of going and being social and having a good time and like sparking conversation and whatever. Say no. Stay home. Making space for rest in your life and making space for yourself and the things that you want to do is so important. And this goes for work opportunities. You know how many times I have said yes to brand deals or sponsorships or just like concepts, and I don't even like really care about them, but it's just like, oh yeah, I'll do that. I'll make the money. I'll do whatever. And it's like, why am I doing this? I'm taking every single opportunity so that I can make as much money as possible, be as successful as possible, and do the best that I could actually do. You know what I mean? Like, I so many times just find myself saying yes to everything because I don't want to miss out. I don't want to feel like I'm not reaching my full potential. But at the same time, like, that, like, saying yes to everything affects you. You can't say yes to everything because you don't have enough time to do everything that you're saying yes to. So it's not fair to say yes to everything and expect yourself just to be able to handle it, because that's hard. You know what I mean? You need to say no to some things. I feel like I've been so passionate in this episode. Like, I just keep like getting in this like inspirational, motivational speaker voice tone thing, and I'm kind of loving it. But like, for example, me and my boyfriend were gonna hang out tonight because we are binge watching. We are on a movie marathon of the Hunger Games. I don't know why. I think Hunger Games got put on Netflix just recently, which, I mean, that's what we're watching it on. But I think since it got put on Netflix, like, a bunch of TikToks keep coming up of people talking about the Hunger Games and like analyzing the characters and like hidden things throughout the movie and the show, like whatever, or the movie and the book, not a show. The Hunger Games was, and honestly probably still is, one of my favorite book series that I've ever read. I used to like hate on science fiction so much. Like, even like, I mean, I feel like I just had like a bad stigma towards science fiction. I was like, science fiction, like, what the fuck? Like, I'm not into science. I'm not into robots. But like, looking back on it, all of the books that I enjoyed as like a literal child, and then all of the books that I enjoyed throughout like high school, were pretty much like science fiction. Obviously, there was some exceptions to that, and I also love myself a romance novel. I love myself a little I don't even know what book genres there are. But anyhow, I say anywho way too much. I've started noticing that. I'm very sorry. I don't know what else to say. Anyway, I feel like anyway is better. But anywho is more fun. I don't know. I think I bullied my boyfriend one time because he said anywho. I was like, what the hell does that even mean? Anywho, but it's fun. I get it now. I'm sorry, Leo. I made fun of you. I just thought it was silly that he said anywho instead of anyway, and now I say it. Isn't that funny how that works out? What was I talking about? Oh, I love the Hunger Games. Yeah, I read all the Hunger Games books in 3rd grade and watched all of the movies like right shortly after that. And I haven't seen them since. And then when they got put on Netflix and everything kept coming up on my TikTok about it, I was like, Leo, have you ever seen the Hunger Games? And I was expecting him to say yes, because most people, right, have seen the Hunger Games. Is that just me? I feel like everybody has seen the damn Hunger Games. But my boyfriend hadn't. So I was like, shut the fuck up, cancel all your plans next week. We are binging, we are marathoning the fuck out of the Hunger Games, because you are not cultured. You're not cultured if you haven't seen the Hunger Games. What do you mean? So for the last couple of nights, I mean, it's been like not every single night, but like for the last like every other day or so when we've hung out, we've watched one of the movies. Last night we watched 2 of them. So basically we had plans to hang out tonight and watch Mockingjay Part 2. Ever since last night when we watched the other 2 movies, we were like, hey, let's watch the last one, or the next one tomorrow. And we were going to do that, but I texted him a few hours ago and I was like, hey, honestly, I don't think it's a good idea if we hang out tonight. Like, I have a ton of work. I have been procrastinating all week, and honestly, when we hang out, we stay up way too freaking late, because we'll hang out like usually at nighttime, just because it's winter. There isn't a whole lot to do during the day, so I like to work during the day and like get my stuff done, and then I'll hang out with him at like after dinner time or whatever, and we'll either watch like Netflix or watch a movie, or we'll go do something. But like for the last couple of nights, we've been watching this damn movie, and we've been staying up so freaking late. Like, literally, he went home at 2 a.m. last night. So yeah, I was just like, I have a lot to do, and I don't think it's a good idea if we hang out. Even though I did want to hang out with him and I did want to watch the movie, I know that I have a lot of work to do, and if I don't get it done tonight, I'm going to have to push it off to tomorrow, and then I'm probably going to keep procrastinating it, because once I procrastinate enough, I'll just keep procrastinating until like literally the very last minute. So that's why I'm recording this podcast. It was either record the podcast, hang out with him. I'm going to probably edit this podcast directly after this, just so I have it done. But yeah, just like saying no, acknowledging that you need time to yourself, whether that is to get some work done or whether that's just to rest. Like, there has definitely been times where I've also been like, hey, Leo, I would love to hang out, but I honestly just need some alone time tonight. Like, I just need some time to myself. I need to take a bath. I need to do a face mask. Like, I need to just, take time alone. And that's so important. So just doing that more and being able to set boundaries when it comes to work and also school and also relationships, so important. That's pretty much all that I had to talk about today. I think I'm going to end the episode off. I've been talking for like an hour and 15 minutes, and that seems to be like the sweet spot lately for like these 40 to 50 minute podcast episodes that I'm doing. So hopefully we're at the right time limit. Like I said, I'm still figuring all of this out. I'll probably say that for like the next 6 months. Like I'm still figuring it out. Hopefully after then, I'll be like all prepared, I don't even know what I'm talking about now. I'm gonna go. Thanks so much for listening. I love you guys. Please rate the podcast on Apple Podcasts or on Spotify, wherever you're listening. If you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe, turn on the post notifications. I really just appreciate you wherever you're watching or listening. I truly love you. So thank you for tuning in to this week's episode. I think it was a really good episode. I don't know. I know that I do some episodes where it's like more like structured and me giving like facts and advice and facts to back up that advice. Like this one was kind of very like scientific, like me giving little definitions and stuff. But there's also episodes where I just sit and talk and literally have no plan. So I kind of like that it's all over the place. But let me know which type of episode you prefer more. Do you prefer the episode where I just go into it and literally talk about a bunch of random stuff? Or do you like these more structured episodes? I will see you in the next episode. Why was I kind of good? Someone sign me. I need a label. I'm releasing my first song next month. Shut up. I'm leaving. Okay, bye.